North Park Elementary School reopened today after last Monday's murder-suicide. We'll take you back to San Bernardino to see how families are continuing to cope with the tragedy.
A gas leak closed down part of campus this morning after construction workers accidentally hit a gas line. We'll take you to the scene coming up.
An activist gathered outside the sheriff's department today to protest his opposition to California's sanctuary state legislation. We'll hear their concerns coming up.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
We understand that restoration and healing is going to take some time.
North Park Elementary School students returned to classes today, 1 week after a murder-suicide. Good evening, I'm Jake Ingracia.
And I'm Gabriela Vidal. The San Bernardino school was closed for a full week. Annenberg Media's Kaylee Heck went to North Park to see how people are coping.
We didn't even celebrate Easter yesterday.
Judy Perez was scared to send her 2 kids to school today.
I don't feel safe leaving my kids here anymore. I feel like it's going to happen anytime.
The first day back at North Park Elementary School after last week's deadly shooting. A teacher, Karen Smith, and 8-year-old Jonathan Martinez were shot and killed in the classroom by Smith's estranged husband before he shot and killed himself.
My daughter didn't want to come. She wanted to stay home.
Support still pouring in from the community, including from Daniel Sievert and his 2 service dogs.
When we go to a tragedy, they understand other people's pain and come alongside and spend a few quiet moments.
Quiet moments that words don't work for.
That's why when words aren't enough, we show up and just bring a presence that we care.
Giving comfort to the parents like Perez who are still trying to process what happened.
It's really painful.
When they tell me their story, they're able to kind of release some of that heaviness and walk away lighter with a little bit more joy and love and hope.
San Bernardino City USD is continuing to provide grief support for students and staff. They say they know the healing and grieving process will be different for everyone.
They put their arms of healing around each other. They put their arms of healing around the students when they welcome them today. And it's just a beautiful sight to see children coming back, talking with each other and beginning those first steps toward healing.
For Perez, the first step of healing was wrapping her arms around a companion.
I know it's going to take time, and it's going to be hard.
And sending her kids back to school today. For USC Annenberg Media, I'm Kaylee Heck.
Hikers will no longer have access to the popular Hollywood Sign hiking trail starting tomorrow. A judge ordered the Beechwood Drive entrance closed after a battle between the city and a Griffith Park horse riding facility. The owners of Sunset Ranch Hollywood Stables filed a lawsuit against the city for allowing people to walk through their land to get to the sign. Residents living near the trail have mixed reactions to the decision. One resident blames the city for poorly regulating the area in the past.
It's a shame that it had to happen. It just underscores the city.
This is one of the better hikes, and I think the city should find an alternative way of getting up to see the sign.
They had to make some decisions as to what to do about the traffic, and their only decision was saying as a public road and public access, it should be total unfettered access. Well, Yosemite's a public park, and they close it periodically because it gets too overwhelmed. But they wouldn't do it here.
Annenberg Media reached out to the owners of the ranch, but they declined to comment.
A major gas leak near a construction site shut down part of campus today. A construction vehicle near parking structure A hit the gas line. DPS and the LA Fire Department were on the scene soon after closing off the area. The CLG Mudd Building and Irani Hall were both evacuated, and pedestrians and cars were kept from the area as precaution. No one was injured in the incident.
During construction, a construction vehicle, I'm not sure exactly what type, but some kind of construction vehicle hit a gas line.
Gas leak stopped around 9 this morning, and students were allowed back into classrooms. Fire officials say they're not sure if construction will be delayed while the accident is being investigated.
Cleveland police and the FBI are still looking for the man who recorded himself on Facebook Live while committing a murder.
We're asking the public to remain vigilant. We're asking you to go about your day, but to be careful. We're also asking you, if you see anything resembling that vehicle, you have the description of Steve Stevens, to give us a call.
The suspect's name is Steve Stevens. Police say he is armed and dangerous. Stevens reportedly killed 74-year-old Robert Godwin in Cleveland near the shore of Lake Erie. Authorities are now on the lookout in 4 different states and are asking anyone with information on the whereabouts of Stevens to come forward. More than 9 schools were on lockdown today in Erie, Pennsylvania, a suburb just 6 miles away from Cleveland. A $50,000 reward is being offered for more information leading to Stevens' arrest.
And North Korea testing more missiles over the weekend. Vice President Mike Pence is responding with a warning.
Tensions continue to rise throughout the region. Our international reporter Claudia Buccio is here with the details. Claudia?
That's exactly right. The tense relations between the U.S., North Korea, and China continue to escalate over the fear of a nuclear war. North Korea's UN representative has unleashed a series of threats towards the U.S.
The DPRK policy to consistently keep technical nuclear weapons deployed in South Korea. And the third, to launch the independent military action aimed at beheading the operation against the leadership of the DPRK.
His remarks came after those made by Vice President Pence. The Vice President is on a trip to Asia and has warned North Korea to stop testing nuclear weapons and missiles. But he has also extended the option of holding talks.
Just in the past 2 weeks, the world witnessed the strength and resolve of our new president in actions taken in Syria and Afghanistan. North Korea would do well not to test his resolve or the strength of the armed forces of the United States in this region.
The U.S. has advised China to pressure North Korea to stop these ongoing weapon tests, but China continues to push for peaceful dialogue. The U.S. has offered better trade deals if China agrees to take action.
Since the nuclear issue broke out, China's efforts have been clear for all to see when it comes to promoting the denuclearization of the peninsula, pushing all relevant parties to resolve the issue through dialogues and consultations, as well as preserving peace and stability in the region.
As of now, the conversations continue between this critical triangle of power. China is adopting a soft approach as mediator between the U.S. and North Korea. The president of Turkey says his country voted in favor of an expansion in presidential power. Officials say 51% of voters approved the country's referendum. It calls for a transition between a parliamentary government to a presidential system. In this new constitution, elections will be held in 2019. The president will have a 5-year tenure for up to 2 terms. He or she can be part of a political party, and the president will appoint 5 of 13 Supreme Court members. There will be no prime minister. President Erdogan spoke to reporters and said the referendum was approved by 1.3 million votes. I talked with some Turkish USC students who voted against this referendum.
I can't feel I'm supported in my own country. I'm always feeling like I have to feel against this.
People who voted for yes basically voted yes because of fear, and because all the economy is going bad. The terror attacks was on a rise that I never seen before.
Some of my friends, they were so sure about that the result was gonna be no, but recently there are some videos released that the election was cheated. Some people they stamped yes onto empty votes and put them back in the envelopes.
Many are calling for a recount of the closed vote. A report by the BBC said 3 of Turkey's major cities, Istanbul, Ankara, and Izmir, all voted against this referendum. Back to you, Jake and Gabby.
Thanks for that report, Claudia. And police arrested 8 people in downtown Los Angeles today who were a part of a protest against LA County Sheriff and his stand on making California a sanctuary state. Annenberg Media's Christina Galvan talked to protesters.
Dozens of people arrived in downtown Los Angeles to defend immigration rights and gather support for the May Day rallies.
We've got to stop the craziness that the Trump administration has kicked off in our country. We have to stop the wave of fear that's hitting communities and paralyzing people.
Protesters are also rallying against Sheriff Jim McDonald, who opposes a bill that would make California a sanctuary state. The bill would prevent law enforcement agencies from using resources to assist immigration enforcement agencies.
We think he's wrong, And when people in our community feel a distrust of the police, they're more likely to be less likely to be a witness to a crime or willing to be a witness to a crime that's being committed, and are more likely to be vulnerable to a crime against themselves because of their status.
In a letter to Senate Pro Tem Kevin De Leon, who introduced the bill, McDonald said, quote, SB 54 would not allow the safe transfer of custody. Rather, it would force immigration enforcement agents into our communities in order to search out and find the person they seek. The result of this will be complete and total loss of trust and cooperation with any law enforcement agency, end quote. In a statement, the sheriff's office said only violent offenders are turned over to ICE. Today's protest ended after police arrested 8 people who sat in the middle of the street and refused to leave. For Annenberg Media, I'm Christina Galvan.
A Loyola Marymount University poll found that 40% of LA County residents strongly support having a sanctuary city where they live, while only 17% strongly oppose. Millennials were the most supportive of the age groups, with 74% in favor of sanctuary cities. And actress Gina Rodriguez is speaking right now on campus. We'll take you live to Bovard Auditorium to find out more.
California's Secretary of State Alex Padilla visited a local high school to get students involved in choosing elected leaders.
And more details are revealed 1 year after Prince's death. Find out what investigators have uncovered. We'll be right back.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter?
Almost a year after Prince's death, court documents have revealed opioid painkillers were hidden in multiple places in his Minnesota home. Prince died of an accidental overdose of fentanyl, that is the most powerful painkiller on the market. Some of the pills were hidden in bottles of over-the-counter medication such as Bayer aspirin and Aleve. Authorities are still investigating who provided Prince with the drugs and how long he had been taking them. And so I'm really curious to see what the weather is going to be like this week. It was pretty nice today, but I'm still a little curious.
Beautiful weather outside today, and we have some nice weather coming up, I hear. Addie Stafford is over at the maps with our weather report. Addie?
You are correct, Jake. We have a great week coming up ahead, but let's check out those current conditions. We're looking at 69 degrees outside, partly cloudy weather, but a nice night out there, and it seems like we're really settling into spring. Now let's check out the mountains for tomorrow. 55 degrees at Big Bear for tomorrow. We have 89 there in Palm Springs. On the coast, we're looking at 64 degrees in Malibu and 70 in Thousand Oaks. Now finally, let's check out the USC area. We have 70 degrees tomorrow here at USC, and pretty much low 70s throughout the rest of the area, high 60s. Now let's check out your 5-day forecast. We're looking at a great week ahead. Lots of sunshine, highs in the 70s, and we're going to get all the way up to the 80s by Friday and Saturday. So great week and great weekend ahead. Now, Northern California mountains had the wettest winter in history. Last Thursday, the Sierra Nevada mountains reached almost 90 inches of rain and snow. Those mountains supply water to the rest of the state, so the rainfall has been great for us in Southern California. We talked to a ski instructor at the Mount Rose Ski Tahoe Resort to see how it's affecting the slopes up north.
There's too much snow. So we've gotten so much snow, and
we just don't know where to put it anymore. It's good and bad. Like, it's good revenue for mountains all around the world. But at the same time, it puts the safety risk of, okay, how many people is too much?
Najima says Mount Rose got a record amount of snow this winter. Other than overcrowding, the massive amounts of snow can also lead to avalanches. Ski resort workers even trigger avalanches to minimize the risks of disasters happening while skiers are on the mountain. So it's obviously great for skiers, but then you have that risk of avalanches. So a lot of snow, there's good and bad to it.
And a lot to look out for on those mountains. Addie, thanks for that report.
Thank you so much, Addie. And millennials make up the biggest voting group in California, but less than a quarter actually vote. Annenberg Media's Eitan Wallace went to a local high school where a California lawmaker encouraged young people to register.
During last month's election, Los Angeles experienced a record low voter turnout. Only 11% of the city's registered voters actually cast a ballot.
Good morning, everybody.
That's why California's Secretary of State, Alex Padilla, has launched a campaign encouraging young people to vote. He spoke to students at Silmar High School today to do just that.
Every single election is important.
The event was held in partnership with Why Vote, a group whose mission it is to get millennials to register and vote.
The approach that we take is to let folks know that this is a right that they have, and so in many ways it's just about giving them the information necessary so that they know when to go out to vote, why to go out to vote, and how to go out to vote.
Voting is important.
Matthew Huerta is a son of Mexican immigrants and a senior at Silmar High.
We don't always have the power to be able to make changes in this community, so I feel like someone that does obtain that power can hear our voices and be able to make that change that we want to see.
Most of the students pre-registered today, so when they turn 18, they're ready to vote.
So here's how it all works. Students are handed this, a California voter registration form. They fill it out, submit it, and then the county registrar processes it, and that's it. They're all registered. But just because you fill out a voter registration form does not necessarily mean you'll turn out to vote on election day. How can you actually get students here today who register to actually go and vote?
Right. Well, it's a two-step process.
That's why Padilla and Why Vote will continue to host similar events in the future.
At the end of the day, if you have the privilege to vote, take it and have your voice heard.
A voice these students say they will bring into the next election. For Annenberg Media in Silmar, I'm Eitan Wallace.
Thanks for that, Eitan. Well, actress Gina Rodriguez is speaking on campus at Bovard Auditorium about diversity in media and entertainment. Annenberg Media's Brian Redhead is live outside the event to tell us more. Brian?
I'm outside Bovard Auditorium where Gina Rodriguez is currently speaking about her advocacy for increased representation of people of color in film, TV, and media. They were originally going to allow 500 students to RSVP, but had to increase that number to 750 due to high demand. There were hundreds of students in anticipation earlier about what Gina was going to say tonight. Gina is known for her role as Jane from Jane the Virgin, where she won the Golden Globe Award in 2015. I spoke with some of these students earlier about what they were looking forward to most in this.
I'm here because I'm a huge Jane the Virgin fan. Also, like Gina, I am a Puerto Rican American woman, so I really look up to her.
I definitely want to hear a bit about her personal story and why she's so passionate about, this topic.
I think that her work is just not being an actress, is also making sure that everyone else has equal opportunity and success.
We also talked earlier with the executive director of the Latino Student Assembly who organized this event about what they hope USC students will learn.
Some of the topics we're hoping she touches upon is overall kind of the stereotypes that are associated within the Latino culture, and also discussing overall how her role within media has played as a Latina woman and how she hopes to kind of move forth and kind of break boundaries, stereotypical boundaries that exist currently.
With her continuous work in diversity equality in Hollywood, film, television, and more, she hopes that people, especially women, will come out and join the fight. For Annenberg Media, I'm Brian Redhead. Back.
Thanks so much for that, Brian. And men's volleyball season just getting started.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they're doing. And I know that you spoke with one of the men's volleyball players earlier today.
That's right, Jake and Gabby. Well, the season actually just finished. But no matter what, I did talk to a senior player about what his next steps will be. And on the field, the women's lacrosse team picked up a huge win in the Coliseum this past weekend.
And the USC women's tennis team is gearing up for its last 2 matches of the season. Stay tuned. Sports are next.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. That was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees. Nothing to do with snow. Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones. Don't even. And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Welcome back to ATVN. The USC men's volleyball season came to a close this weekend, and earlier today I caught up with one player to talk about that season. The USC men's volleyball team season came to a close this past weekend with a 3-1 loss to top-ranked Long Beach State in the MPSF quarterfinal. Now, one of the key contributors on that team is senior middle blocker Andy Benesch, who now joins me in studio. Andy, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So in that loss to Long Beach State, you guys got outblocked, but you did have more digs. So as a middle blocker, is there anything that you wish you would have done a bit differently?
So we were going to have to funnel their attacks into our defense, and we got some control blocks that helped out our digs too. So, you know, overall, yeah, we knew we were probably going to lose the block battle going in, but the game plan set us up for a lot of digs.
You know, moving on to kind of the team as a whole, this team went 7-19 during your junior year, and now proved all the way to 14-14 in a national ranking. What are the main improvements you guys have done in the offseason or throughout the year to kind of boost this rise?
Yeah, I mean, it's just consistent play. That's what we were lacking last year. And then serving and passing, the biggest thing in volleyball. Pretty much every game comes down to whoever wins the serve and pass battle. So we made huge improvements with that, and that helped out our attacking, our blocking, and everything.
Now going forward, you know, you will not be there. Your time has unfortunately come to a close. What can we expect from the team going forward, from the younger guys? Where is this program headed after such a rise this year?
Yeah, I mean, this is our head coach's second season. Jeff Nygaard, and he's really been instilling a good team culture into this program, and we made a big jump from last year to this year, and I think the younger guys, as long as they keep working hard, they're talented enough to keep it going in the right direction. And I mean, SC is one of the best recruiting schools. I mean, the school sells itself just off of its brand, so they're going to get great talent in here, and I really think it's going in the right direction.
You know, with your ride, do you have any next steps you want to talk about, or
yeah. I think I'm going to go try to play in Europe. I have a couple friends playing right now, and then the SE connection for volleyball in Europe is really strong, so I know some of the alumni are going to help me out trying to find an agent and stuff. But yeah, I'm want to go play in Germany, but I guess we'll see what happens in the next couple of months.
Thank you for 4 years of commitment to the USC men's volleyball program, and I wish you the best of luck in wherever your next steps may take you.
All right, thank you.
Other seniors on the team include Vinny Rios, Michael Malay, Christopher Ornek, and Lucas Yoder. The women's lacrosse team is capping off its regular season with 2 weekend games against Stanford and UC Davis. The women of Troy are coming off a big senior day win over Colorado last Friday.
It was so fun, and it's really special to have this win with this group of girls. We've had some really tight games with Colorado and some really good Coliseum games over our 4 years, and this is like the perfect way to end it all.
Moving from sticks to rackets, the women's tennis team is gearing up for a match against Pepperdine this Wednesday. Our sports director, Connor McGlynn, has more.
Thanks, Aaron. As you mentioned, the women of Troy will try to ride a 4-match win streak into the meeting with the Waves. But USC players know they will have to keep their focus with UCLA on the horizon.
The wins this last couple weekends have got us the momentum that we really needed, and Pepperdine and UCLA obviously are really tough matches, but we played UCLA earlier in the year. We're looking good, and we've got the confidence we need to go in and do everything we can.
USC will take on Pepperdine at home at Marks Tennis Stadium on Wednesday. After that, they'll move on to the final match of the season against crosstown rival UCLA in Westwood. USC fell 4-3 in the only matchup between the two LA schools this year back in February. But this crosstown showdown isn't just one of many taking place this weekend. For more on that, back to you, Aaron.
Thanks, Connor. That's right, it is rivalry week here on campus as 4 Trojan teams will take on UCLA, including men's tennis, women's water polo, and beach volleyball. And Jake and Gabby, when any team takes on those Bruins, it's always going to be a great game.
You know me, I love myself a good UCLA-USC showdown.
A lot to look forward to. Thanks for that.
Thank you so much. The White House is held its annual Easter egg roll to celebrate the holiday.
We'll have highlights from the South Lawn coming up.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Children rolled Easter eggs down the White House lawn for the 139th year in a row. About 21,000 people attended the Trump family's first Easter egg roll. The event initially appeared to be in jeopardy after some planning issues. There were fewer children than in previous years, but that meant the lines were shorter, much to the delight of the children who participated. Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Gabriella Vidal.
And I'm Jake Ingrassia. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Have a good night.